I think this story is kind of epic. I don't think it will repeat for anybody, but I think for Tech Tuesday, it's important to put it out there because um, there's a lot of cochlear implant users out there, and they need to know these little tidbits. I'm hoping that this won't happen to anybody. Really, I'm just really unique and difficult in the medical field, so. But here's my story. I have a lot of neurological weirdness going on, and it causes problems for me for walking, and some weakness on the left side, and migraines and other stuff. So the doctors are watching closely. But years ago, they really wanted an MRI to make sure there wasn't anything big, bad, or ugly. And I had cochlear implants bilateral that time. And I was like, the doctor just came and said, I need an MRI. And I said, well, go find some other way, because I'm not going through double surgery. So, so he left the room, and he came back and he said, I still need an MRI. So my cochlear implant surgeon came up and said, let's just give them what they want. And I was like, Doc, no, he said, let's try to avoid surgery. There's some research in terms of tying a band around your head and, keeping the magnets steady and so they won't flip during the MRI. Let's try it so we can avoid surgery. I was like, I don't know about this. But he did the band, and I was put in the MRI. And but before the MRI, I was supposed to get the band on really tight. They were going to put me in the MRI and get me out. The MRI was going to be short and sweet. However, there was an emergency and someone else had to go into the MRI before me. So I was put in line, and the pain was just increasing because the pressure was so tight around my head that I said, I need the band off. Take me back upstairs. This is not going to work. Take it off. And I grabbed the technician. I said, please take it off. This is it. I can't tolerate it. And he said, no. I didn't have my processors on, so I couldn't hear anything of what anyone was saying. So I said, no, I can't do it. Take me back upstairs. And the technician was saying, no, he couldn't do that. So the pain was so high that, I got sick and threw up and all that kind of stuff. So all I remember was this nurse flying above my gurney. She lands on my gurney and injects me with something, and I was out. I was aware, but I was, it was probably morphine because I was aware. Morphine doesn't do anything for my pain, unfortunately. So I was kind of like semi-conscious of what was going on. So I still was in pain and just lied there, and then they were able to put me in the MRI. It was a half an hour. It was extremely painful because I could feel everything being pulled. It was awful. And so I was in that MRI for a half an hour, 30 minutes of what. So they took me out, and somebody grabbed me and took off the band right away, and then they took me upstairs, and I was just out of it and very annoyed. So then the doctor came in a few minutes later and said, I need another MRI. And I said, go take a hike, sir. So I was so mad. And of course, my surgeon came up and said, I am really sorry for everything that happened downstairs. It shouldn't have gone that way. And I said, well, it did. So let's deal with it. But I'm not going through this again. said, no, we still need another MRI, yada, yada. And so I said, Doc, no, this time I'll take out the magnets and, we'll do the MRI and it'll be fine. I said, Doc, that's what everybody's been telling me. It'll be fine, and it hasn't been. So am I supposed to believe you or who? So anyway, he said, I get it. You're annoyed, but we want to finish this procedure, and I am so sorry for what happened, but let's do it. I'll just take out the magnets. You won't feel any pain going into the MRI. So we did it, and the MRI lasted for about 2 hours. It was very, very long. And later on, when I was awake, I said to the surgeon, I said, what did you do this whole time? He said, well, I was playing games on my phone. Good grief. But there was an advantage because we were able to book a surgery room next to the MRI, so that it was very convenient. We went into the special surgery room. We took out the magnets. They brought me into the MRI. They did the MRI right then and there. I went back into surgery, and they put the magnets back in. Done. So, of course, that is a rare circumstances because that special surgery room next to the MRI is very hard to book. It's very hard to grab it. So under those circumstances, I said yes, and we did the MRI. And when they put the magnets back in that time, I think that's when it happened, that the ring that holds the magnet in on my right side broke. But the magnet was steady, so it healed fine, no problem. Years later, the neurologist said, I need an up-to-date MRI. I said, sir, you are out of your mind. You have no idea what I went through last time. And the answer is no. So let's move on. I said, no, Lisa, I really need another MRI. We just need to, get one that's up to date. We'll just, So my surgeon came in the room, and I thought, oh. Anytime my cochlear implant surgeon walks in the room, I know I'm in trouble. So he said, I talked to the doctors in neurology, and I said, Dr. Friedland, please, no, not again. And he said, no, I'll see if we can book the special surgical room again, but we probably can't. So if we can't, what's going to happen is I'm going to take out your magnets. You're going to go home. You'll come back the next day, do the MRI, and then you'll come back the following day, and I'll put the magnets back in. So under pressure, I said yes, and we went ahead and did it that way. However, after the second surgery where they put the magnets back in, something was wrong. I was having still pain on the right side, and something was weird. My processor wasn't connecting, and something was, after a few days, I said to my nurse here at the assisted living, I said, we need to go back. Something's wrong. So we made an appointment with my audiologist, and and so she says, oh, let me take a look. So she came around the back and took a look and said, oh, didn't say anything, left the room. I thought, oh, I'm in trouble again. So she came back with our nurse practitioner from audiology, and she lifted up my hair, and she said, uh-oh. I said, all right, let's stop with the uh-ohs and the ohs and tell me what's going on. Flat out. So she said, well, this surgery is, the surgical area has not healed, and your magnet is loose. I said, why is the magnet loose? And she said, well, I'm not sure. So let me go talk to your surgeon. I'm like, oh. So I met up like the following day with my surgeon, and I said, what is going on? So he said, well, it appears that the ring that where the magnet goes is broken. And so we have two options. One is for me to go in and try to fix it, or replace the implant altogether. So I thought about it for a second, and I said, the safest thing in the one-step process to me seems like, let's change the implant altogether. Because my concern is if you go in there and you can't fix it, you sew me back up, and then you talk to me afterwards, we're going to have to do a second one. So let's cut to the chase. So my surgeon agreed that that was our best option to replace the implant. So we went back into surgery, changed the whole implant. After surgery, my surgeon said we had made absolutely the right choice because there was no way on this green earth that he would have been able to fix the ring. He said it was totally destroyed. So I said, oh, okay. So when we replaced the implant on the right side, it healed just fine. And it worked just great. I've had no problems with it. And that's the one that's MRI compatible. My doctor talked to me and said they're probably going to bring this up again, that somebody's going to want an MRI again. So, and we'll talk about it then. It'll just be one surgery on your left side and not on your right side. So we'll be saving a little bit, the madness. So there's a few things I want to say here. The band that he tried on me the first time, that's not allowed anymore by the upper guys in surgery throughout the United States. So if a surgeon offers you that option, say, no, it's not allowed. So if he needs to look it up, he needs to look it up. Anybody out there who is having trouble needs an MRI, and the doctor said, oh, we'll just put a band on. We won't do the surgery. They're not allowed to do that anymore by the uppers. At the top, there is a ethics committee, and there is a best practice committee, and safety committees for medical procedures, and they have canceled and not allowed the wrapping of the implants anymore. So just know that. For Cochlear Americas, their implants now are MRI compatible, the newer ones. So whoever you are out there, if you got a new cochlear implant from Cochlear Americas, that is MRI compatible. You don't have to be concerned about the surgeries that I went through. If you have an old implant and it was done years ago, you still have to go through the removal of the magnets, and know that the more times you do that, the more risk you are that ring will break and you'll have to replace. My suggestion is you replace the whole implant. It's a suggestion. The other companies, Advanced Bionics and Medell, you'll have to ask them about MRIs. I think Medell had big issues with that. I don't think they could remove the implant at all. So you have to look at your company and talk to your surgeon or cochlear implant audiologist about that before you make a choice of implants. You never know if you have a car accident or something happens to you and all of a sudden you need an MRI. So Advanced Bionics, they might be MRI compatible by now. Medell, I don't know. So those companies, you have to check into them because I don't have that information. But Cochlear America is good to go in terms of the new implants. So that's my story. Those are my experiences that I hope help someone out there in terms of MRIs and cochlear implants. It's a hassle. It's a big hassle. But in some circumstances, it can be done. And if it's a life-threatening situation, that you must have an MRI due to life or death circumstances, then the implant becomes second place. And they might just remove it altogether and do the MRIs they need to save your life. So just know that. And I think the insurance companies and the government knows that, and I've said to my doctor, if there's a life and death situation, just take it out. I can live without them, I'd be sad if we had to do that, but I think they would just have to take out the magnets. They wouldn't have to take out the whole thing. But if we continue to have this issue of needing MRIs and more MRIs, I have to think about it. But I think on the left side, it'll just be taking out the magnet. If something goes wrong in that surgery, we'll have to replace that one too. We'll have to replace the entire magnet. I'm not going to have a surgeon go in and, the little circle and the magnet. Those are very tiny pieces. And it's difficult to go in and try to fix a piece of plastic that holds, a magnet. I felt like it was a waste of time. I felt like it was a waste of money, a waste of everything. So I just said, change it. Just change it. And I didn't know. I'm not sure I knew or I forgot, but anyway, my surgeon said it was a good idea because that is MRI compatible. So it's like, darn it, we should have done the other side. But you have to have a good excuse to do, to remove and change an internal component. So we'll see. Will I need another MRI? Probably in my lifetime. Soon, I don't know. But I just wanted to tell my story because I think it's important for people to know what's allowed, what's not allowed, under what circumstances does an implant need to be replaced. What could be a waste of time if that ring is broken in your circumstances and you have a magnet that's out of place and it's just not useful. Just have the implant changed because it's broken. Technically speaking, it's broken, and the insurance will allow and will approve a change of implants. So I think that, my story is not common at all. So I don't think you should worry about that. But I'm just saying, I just wanted to share what's allowed, what's not allowed now, updates on internal components. And I don't know if they just make general internal components and share it with the other companies. I don't know. So I think if Cochlear America has figured it out, they might share that secret with the other companies and then everybody will be on the same page. That's my hope because MRIs are very common. It's the most up-to-date tool we have to look into a human being and figure out what's going on with the veins and the arteries and everything else. So, and, CTs and CAT scans are older technology, and the doctors don't like to use it, But so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. If you have any more questions about that, or what my more experiences in doing that, let me know. It's a long story, and I think it's important to share it, and for you to know what could happen to you and what to do in those circumstances. All right, people, you know what to do with this. It would be very helpful for me if you subscribed, if you found this video helpful. Subscribe and like, make comments, and then the algorithm will say, oh, yeah, okay, people like this channel, so let's help this person, and just subscribe, and then I'll come back and watch other videos. So that would be awesome. All right, take care, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.